We back at it again. We got Sergeant Pecoraro again with us, second time, man. Welcome back to the channel, brother. Let
Yeah, I
me
appreciate you.
get out of here. We're running late, technical difficulties, man. We were trying to do a new setup. It didn't work, but I gotta get back at it. Hopefully, we get a way to improve the channel, man. I'm trying to improve the channel, give you a better quality of video, a little bit of everything. But I'm slowly but surely learning. Where you at? I know I got you right here. There it goes. You see, I didn't even know you can do this on the TV. Until I start doing this. Alright.
Hey,
I was,
technology is advancing
hey man, you're not even
e-
playing.
every day.
So it's like right now I got one of my friends coming over. Hopefully this weekend to help me with the setup.
Hmm.
Man, you see, we started since earlier, and I forgot my cup. Guess we're not
Uh-oh.
drinking tonight.
Oh, so,
So how you been,
sorry.
brother?
Doing good. Yeah, like I was saying, it's just been a pretty draining week because it's like starting to warm up, and I mean, like I said, here it's like there's really there's really no spring. It's like it goes from that cold right into just hot summer. And it's like, so yeah, it's been interesting, and with everything going on, just trying to work and dealing with that. So yeah, it's been good though.
Man, bro, you if I remember right, you working on the AC units, no?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I ended up um yeah, it was kind of funny. Like I landed into this, like didn't expect it, it literally felt like how it felt like joining the military. Like I had said before, that it was like never thought that I would ever have joined the military. I never would have thought that I'd be doing this, especially like living here all my life. Um, that it's just like when the summer hits and it gets hot, man, I'm just like, I don't know. That's why like I did collections, because I was like, I want to do an office job. Like I wanted to actually um I actually wanted to go and work in like one of those tall buildings downtown and wear like a suit to work every day, because I watched with my dad when I was younger. Oh, man, what's it called? They came out with a second one, but it was Wall Street.
Okay.
And when I watched that movie, I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "That's what I want to do. Like, I want to be one of those guys that like goes to work, suit and tie, like goes to this like nice big building and all this stuff." And yeah, because I was just like, "There's no way. I'm not gonna." Before the military, I was like, "I don't go outside. It's too hot for that." Like forget that. But yeah, now honestly, uh I mean, just with the way that things have gone the past couple of years, like with like when COVID hit, and people were getting like laid off and all that stuff, it was like a lot of people, I mean, just depending on what your job was, it was like, yeah, I don't know. It was just weird. But like getting into a trade job, um, I mean, you can take it anywhere. I
Yeah.
mean, so it's definitely been beneficial. So I mean, where I landed, I actually landed with one of the school districts out here, and that's because my mother-in-law, she actually works for one of the school districts. She actually works for the school district that my kids go to, doing IT work. And she, including even like my own mom and stuff, it was just like, you should work for a school district because like the benefits, you know,
Benefits.
pay wise, pay will come, but long term, the benefits is what's gonna, you know, really pay off in the long run. And sure enough, I mean, I don't uh I have like the Arizona retirement system that I pay into out of each check. And I've been working there for about a year, since last December on the 8th was my 1 year. And then, so what, like we're in, yeah, it's like been like 3, 4 months since then. So yeah, about a year, like 3 months. So it's like, and when I look at it, I already have like, the last time I looked at it, I had like over like $7,000 in the retirement.
Damn, that's what's up.
So, um, yeah, but I mean, it's a great job. And I was actually, when I had gotten out, um, uh, like we had said before, where it was like, okay, what is my job transferred to? And of course, it was like, police officer, security, whatever. And while I was in my transition of getting out, I had actually applied for Border Patrol originally. And I had gone down, I did the test and everything. I think I passed the test. And then I had told them though, I was like, "Hey, I'm stationed." This is when I was stationed in Carson, because it was like within the last 2 years that I was in, and I was in Carson. Well, I was applying for here in Arizona because there's like three, I think there's 3 or 4 ports of entry, and so I was like, I'm applying for down there, and they were like, okay. And I was like, but I'm in Colorado. So if you can, all of like the medical stuff and whatever other physical things that you need me to do, if it's possible to set up appointments here, I can make them. And they were
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah. They were like, yeah, no problem. And I get emails, and I got an email one time, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, your appointment is like in 2 days, and it was in Arizona. And I was like, I can't. And so like I tried calling them, didn't nobody picked up. And so I was just like, whatever. I just had to let it go and, just say forget it. So um and then actually while I was doing the out process, or not out processing, but man, I can't remember what it's called, but it's that week or 2 week class that you have to go to when you're doing out processing. I can't remember what it's
Okay,
called.
when they yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like they make you create the LinkedIn and build your resume and all that. That class.
Y- Yeah, they
Yeah,
had
yeah,
like
yeah.
teach out. Yeah, so when I cuz I actually did that uh that class. I did that 3 different times. So it was like I kind of got a little bit of experience with like the resume stuff and all of that.
Yeah.
But on that third time, like at Carson, that one, that I have to say that they actually did a really good job, because they had so many um like resources available, but at the same time, they actually put some effort into who they had come through, like job wise, like people from out of state, and all these different companies that were looking to hire people. And they were like a whole bunch of places, because I remember at Polk, each time that I went, the only the only place that they ever had was that, um what was it? It wasn't UTI, but it was the other one. um it's like the one with the hawk on it or something. I can't remember what they're called, but it's like a mechanics, like thing. And that was the only place they had. Well, one of the when they had the job fair there at Carson, they actually had the Secret Service.
No, sure.
And so I actually had submitted my resume to the Secret Service, and I sat down with the guy. He was like, "Yeah," he's like, "Come on down." He's like, "I'll talk with you, or whatever." And so I had started talking to him, and I was like, "Well, here's my background. Like, this is what I've done. I was a scout. I went through, the what was it, rifle marksman instructor course. I went through the what was it, the advanced combat leaders course, like
Yeah.
all that stuff." And he was like, "Oh, that's awesome. This, that, and the other, blah blah blah." And so but the only problem is that for the Secret Service, you had to have a bachelor's degree. And I was like, seriously? And I was like, go figure. I was like everything revolves around that piece of paper. And that, you know, that's just something that even when I was younger, like that's what was always like, in my early 20s, my parents always, about everything kind of revolves around that piece of paper. But they yeah, so but then he was like, "Well, you could apply." And I actually applied for um the Secret Service Police Department. So they have like the Secret Service who, obviously is like around the president and stuff like that, or whoever else, that
Yeah.
uh you know that entails. But then the actual police force that's with them, they're stationed more like the front gates in a way, like the people that are at the entry points to like the White House, or like at that time I think it was still Trump, so like Trump Tower, they would have had you like outside of Trump Tower, or whatever. So I was like, damn, I was like, that'd be awesome, like to do something like that. But it it entailed that I had to go where was it? I think it was like I think Quantico. I would have had to go there for like 6 months and do like their training and all that. And when I was in Carson, I was there by myself, and I was married because I got married. Me and my wife got married when I was still at Polk. And so when I ended up leaving Polk and I went to Carson, um, I ended up going by myself because obviously, like, the military was all new to her, and her support system was all here. And so and we had only been dating like 6 months when I proposed to her, and then we got married 6 months later. So it was like, brand new, being married. So it was kind of understandable, and especially our that lifestyle. It's not an easy transition, to be able to deal with. And on our end, it's easy, but because we're already dealing with it.
Yeah.
But for somebody that's never dealt with it before, so I mean, it sucked a little bit, but looking at it now, uh like later on, like we've been married 8 years, so it's like, um looking back at it, it's just kind of like, okay, I understand, but I spent those 2 years at Carson by myself. So it was like, when I talked to her about it, I was like, well, hey, I was like, here's this opportunity. And, it was just like, well, you've already been gone 2 years. Cause I actually, my twins, they were born, uh, August 8th or August 4th. Sorry. Cause their birthday and my birthday is basically just the opposite numbers. But uh, yeah, they were born, and I wasn't even able to be there for when they were born,
Damn.
and so um, yeah, so they ended up. It was just the fact that like they were, here and I was there, and I missed like the first 2 years, of our us being married essentially, and being able to have that growth together, and getting out, it was just kind of like being dropped into it, and basically, having to learn how to you know coexist together and all that. So, but yeah, she didn't want me to go do it just because obviously it would have been another 6 months on top of the already 2 years, so it was just like, all right, I'll just come home. So, but
Damn. So, man, I guess I can relate. You already miss the birth of your kids. Like that's something everybody want to be there for. Yeah, I see her side. Especially having newborns at the time. They need all the help. Twins, man. Twins is not an easy job, man. I got twin girls, and believe
yeah,
me, I know the struggles.
yeah, yeah. And
So, hey,
because before, when I met her, Um, she already had she had our old, well, he's not biologically mine, but, I mean, he's my son,
yeah,
because I've been in his life since he was 6 months old, so it's
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
um, but yeah, so we had him already, and then to add on our twins, and it was like, man, like, I mean, I give her props, especially given the fact of having to, deal with all that for those 2 years that we had, been apart. And and I've told her before, I wish that I was able to be there, to experience those things, and be able to help out, with, um, just everything. And I think that that's just something that, as for being a dad, that it's just something to, want to experience and be there for. And, it's just one of those things that unfortunately, I missed out on,
yeah,
and that's kind of one of the things with like the military that, uh, I don't know how it was for anybody else that may have had kids like while they were in the military. Um, and like missing out on certain things, like I'm not sure, but obviously I wasn't there for, well, at least I tried to be as much as I possibly could. Like if I was able to put in like passes or whatever, like I would try and be back here as much as possible because
yeah.
it was just easier to get here than from like Louisiana. Um, but yeah, so yeah, it was a weird transition though. Like when I got out, for sure, because I was just so used to that lifestyle, and um, uh, yeah, it was different because I wanted to join, like, I wanted to join the police, the police force, like, when I first got out. I had looked at a couple of different places, and it was just gonna be a lengthy process, because I think it was like a 6-month hiring process, and it's like the same thing as the military almost. It's like having to remember almost every single address you've ever lived at, and it's just
Yeah.
like, and that was kinda something that always deterred me from ever filling out, an application, because I was just like, "Man," like, because then they turn around and everything you put on that, they use on your lie detector.
Let me get to this comment real quick. We got two of my biggest inspiration during my time in this is rapper. Two of your biggest inspirations. What's that, brother? I guess you were one of his biggest inspirations. Is that what he meant?
I think so. I think that's what he meant.
uh, I cannot inspire anybody, bro. I tried though. I tried. Hey, let me ask you a question. You've been for sure following the channel. You've been watching most of them or all of the interviews that I have so far. What do you think so far about the channel?
I mean, pretty much the same thing that I said even from the beginning too. I mean, maybe I said it on here or maybe I said it like off live or whatever, but I just I think that to me in a
Appreciate your
way for
record.
like in a way for one, I know I know I'm like really bad. I mean, even with my own family, like my own side of the family, like contacting people, calling people, or even texting, whatever. Like I just get caught up in the daily, situation of work and then coming home and it's just like I have my own family now, so and as I'm sure you know that it's just like, you're waking up early, like going to work, you know, dealing with that and then coming home and then there's things, responsibilities here like at the house that you got to deal with and it's like, making sure that you're, spending time with, the wife and the kids and things like that and but at the same time like it doesn't is it a responsibility or is that just where kind of like your enjoyment now kind of comes from is just spending that time with those people because you know that's like where your heart I guess you want to say is and not to get
Yeah,
like sentimental but it's like that's where everything's at and it's not that you don't have love for your own family, like your side of the family or whatever, or that you're not um like concerned about anybody else, but it's just kind of like I guess the only way to put it is like out of sight, out of mind,
yeah,
you know? Because I mean, when we were in the military, we saw each other every single day and it was just kind of like it was like the same thing, to where it was just like those are the people that you're around consistently. So it's just like that's where you're at. And there's a lot of times, where I sit there and I like wonder, like, huh, I wonder what this person's doing, or I wonder what this person's doing, or whatever. And I probably get into that same mindset that everybody else does too, where it's just like, what, uh, well, you're not and it's stupid, but then at the same time, I'm like, but that's honestly, I'm sure how a lot of people feel is where it's like, well, I may have tried to contact this person once before and they didn't respond. So then it's like, well, why am I going to sit there and try and like reach out to you when you're not reaching out to me either? It's a two-way street. And then it just kind of becomes like this like impasse basically where it's like,
yeah,
well, you know, who's going to do it first, or whatever. Like it seems almost childish, but which it probably kind of is, but at the same time, then you kind of just forget about it because then you just get caught up in what you're doing on a daily basis and um but so I just feel like with what it is that this does is it gives an opportunity for us to like talk or whatever, like even if it's about nothing, it's just to see like how things are going, like how you're doing, and then at the same time if there's people watching and seeing how they're doing and or seeing how I'm doing, things like that, like I feel like that's like the most important part is it's opening that communication without having to feel that awkwardness of like, oh, well, should I even contact them? Do they even, want to hear from me? Do they even want to talk to me, or whatever? Or, really, I guess, like, in this sense, like, I don't have like an excuse, like, you see me, you can write in the chat, or whatever, like, and but I enjoy what you're doing, and I guess it's just my way to be able to help you, grow, with what you're trying to do, cuz there's a lot of other people like that. Me personally, I look at it as like I want to see other people's stories. And that's, I think, the part that I enjoy.
We got a comment. It says, "I made a Discord group for my army buddies. It's a good way to keep in touch." That's 420 bet. Not sure who that is, but hey, man, like that is. You know what, man? That is one of the things that I've been noticing lately. That most of the times with the people that I message, we don't message anything. We just send like a funny video or meme or something, and it's
Mhm.
like I got that's my way of communication. Like, man, okay, so I know I'm gonna get at least 2, 3 videos from this guy. So it's like that's what I've been doing, like back and forward, and it makes no sense because you don't say anything, but you do say a lot. Because at the same
Right.
time, you checking up what's going
Yeah.
on over there. Man, one of the things that I like is that a lot of people are actually in watching the channel. They're learning from the channel. I got one of the guys that I know for sure. He's learning all your names. So everybody that comes over here is Dave. My homeboy Dave. He was here last time as a co-host. I think that video is gonna drop tomorrow with Tim, the Navy guy. So he's like, man, bro, like I was watching this guy, and I took myself from this video, and it's like people are learning from other experiences, and
Mhm.
it's good that, like I say, I don't. I want everybody to come to the channel, so we can. This is gonna be an open space for everybody. One of the things that I like, we had a conversation. We went out for dinner. One of my friends, and the waitress, she's like, I don't know where. She's like, man, I'm going to basic training. Blah blah blah. I like, oh, for real? Like, yeah. And I was like, look, check this out. Check out my channel. Little did I know, a couple of days later, her family was in the Air Force, Army, and Navy. So they start messaging me like, hey, my niece was talking to you the other day. So it's pretty cool that people that been outside, they're
Mhm.
coming in just to check the channel. And
Right.
people like, I know a lot of people don't want to come in. Like a lot of people like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, sign me up. I'm good for it. But boom, cancel at the last minute because they don't want to be in camera. And I understand that. Not this is not for everybody. But like I tell everybody, it's like, man, I got people that they're like, man, I really don't know what am I gonna say, man. I really, what am I gonna talk about? I don't got no war stories. It's not just that. It's I want this to be a little bit of everything. Talk about your job. Talk about what you did. Maybe someone else is thinking about joining the military. I got Navy guy that came in, talked about what he was doing. I got the MP Air Force guy. So it's like this also can these videos can be watched by somebody else that is trying to or thinking about joining the military and say like,
Right.
well, I don't want to do this. Let me go back. I got a couple of comments right here. 420 bet. I came across your channel, Army 2006, 2000, Army 2006, 2016. Not nice to see people discuss their military experience. Man, bro, appreciate you for coming in. I'm not sure how you got to the channel, but thank you for being here, man. This is you one of the reasons why we're here. I want people to see that, you know, we all have, even though what was your MOS, bro? If you don't mind me asking. Um, this channel is open for everybody. I like this, seeing new people coming in.
Yeah.
This is the point of this channel. This is military talk. I want. Yeah, I know it's a lot of channels out there that they focus more on war stories, but it's not just. I don't want people that like. It's not just war, man. It's a little bit of everything. Like, we do got those stories. We can go hit those stories, but 88 Mike, uh,
Truck truck
truck
driver.
truck driver, right? Yeah, truck driver. All
Yeah.
right, man, what were you stationed at, bro? 88 Mike. So it's like, you see, a driver. I
Hmm.
was a driver, but I was not a. I was a driver, but I was not a driver. You know what I'm saying? It was. So we did everything, man.
Yeah, it wasn't a man. I remember. Speaking of driver, that reminds me honestly of oh, what was his name? Actually, I think I got it on the back. Yeah.
Let me go back.
Uh,
Dixie's years with the 101st Airborne. Hell yeah. 4 years with the 4 years with 25th ID. Damn, bro. Hell
nice.
yeah.
That that reminds me of I think it was like the first month, like when I was there in Afghanistan, that they had obviously they made me the driver like when I got to PSD. And so I remember one of the times I ended up driving Colonel DePore, I think is who it was. Um or not Colonel. Who was it? Uh whoever, I can't remember his name. Our SCO at the time. But yeah, it was like I'd never driven one of those uh MRAPs. And so it was like the blind spots on that thing are ridiculous. And and it's like I've never driven like a semi, like nothing like that. In basic training, like they have you drive a Humvee, and they had us drive like the Abrams, I think, or whatever. I can't remember, whatever the scout one was. But yeah, I was like sitting there, we were driving, and it had that little, in the middle of the console, it had that little bubble thing, like the
Yeah, yeah,
level,
yeah. So you can see
so that
the
so
yeah.
you can see what the angle was. And so he's just like he's like the first thing I think he said to me when he got in was, he was like, all right, take it easy and don't kill us. And I was like, "Oh, thanks for the confidence." And so we were sitting there driving, and they were working on uh the Afghans were they were like working on one of those little waterways, like the kind of like, I guess,
Oh yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
irrigation ditch. And it wasn't real big, like wide, but it had, a good depth to it. And they decided that where we were going, that we were going to pull around the back of the building. Well, we had to go down this alleyway, and coming in off the street, was fairly easy, but then coming back out was a whole different story. And so we're driving, and he's like, all right, just take it easy. Well, obviously the responsibility of the TC is to like help me see what I can't see. And so I'm like, "Hey, sir," I was like, "Hey, sir, am I good on that side?" And he's like, didn't say anything. And I'm just like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna start making the turn." And so I start turning, and the front wheel like starts dipping in. And I was just like, well, I'm already into the turn, like I'm not going to sit there and stop, like, cuz I didn't want the tire to get stuck. So I hit that thing, and I just see that bubble just go whoop, like all the way over. And I was just like, oh god. I was like, we're going to tip. And I just went, and he was just like, damn, private, this, that, and the other. And he's like, you almost fucking killed me, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I was like, "You're not even helping me. Like, I can't see over there." And and yeah, so I ended up getting my ass chewed because they were just like,
We,
"You
we
understand?"
got
Like,
a 420 bed commenting. Very true about the blind spots, and most AMRAPs are very top heavy. Yes, they are. So
yeah,
let me tell you how I ended up driving over there. We were building the cop where we were at, right? We're in
yeah,
Capirani. We didn't have nothing, so we started building a LC. Well, before let me back up. Boom. Before we did the LZ, we got a couple of generators to be able to run the talk, right? So we were getting fuel deliveries like every so often, but they're like, hey, you know what? We need a fuel truck. I didn't know anything about what they were gonna do, so I got Sergeant Martinez coming over with Sergeant Bearden, and he's like, "Hey, are you a Mexican? Well, Mexican." I like, what you mean? It's like, what are you? Well, I'm a Mexican, motherfucker. And he's like, so you think you can drive? I like, man, if you got four wheels, I can drive that motherfucker. And it's
oh my
like,
god,
all right, go start that truck. I like, what the heck? Yeah, it was an MATV, right? I like, well, how the fuck you start this thing? And then he's like, look, this is how you start the truck, drive, neutral, reverse. I like, that's it? Yeah. I like, shit, I can do that. I was like, okay. And like, so am I driving this truck? And like, no, you're going with us because you're bringing a truck back. Whenever I was like, I didn't know what we were driving back, right? And then Siren Bearden, it was the first time me driving like coming back from the fob. So we had to go to the fob, pick up the fuel truck. I didn't know what we were picking up. We're picking up the fuel truck and then coming back to the cop. Mind you,
right,
this time we had on IDs. Like it's summertime, IDs walking everywhere. So it's like I already know. So he's like, once we got to the fob, and he's like, hey, just remember, if we hit an ID, we got so much fuel, we're not even gonna feel it. And I was like, that's not what I wanna hear. And he's like, well, don't fucking hit an ID and we should be fine. I was like, this motherfucker. So now I had never driven a military vehicle whatsoever because I was light infantry. So now I'm driving a fuel truck with double tanks. Like we got the extra tank attached in the back. So I'm like, what the heck? So we driving back to the cop, and he's like, we're really not gonna feel anything if we get hit by an ID right now. Just imagine, we're just gonna. Oh, what happened? And you did already. I was like, why are you telling me this? It's like,
that's
so you he's
that's
like, so you can feel better. I was like, this is not gonna make me feel better. Like,
hell
not
no.
helping at all.
That sounds like some stuff that freaking Sergeant Martinez would say.
No, that
I
was
freaking
Sam Bearden was my TC. Sam Martinez,
oh
we rode on
oh
Sam
well,
Martinez truck,
yeah,
and
tomato
yeah, Sam
tomato.
Bearden was my TC.
Well,
So it
those two
was,
are like two birds and a feather, or two feathers on a bird.
yeah, it's like, man, but we were just like, I like, man. After that day, they're like, hey, so I guess you can drive. I like, okay. They're like, well, we're gonna get a truck for the motors, so whenever we gotta go out, you can take us out. Like, all right. So that's how I started driving. I got a MATV was our truck because we needed the ramp, we needed the room to load up the rounds and everything. We had
Right.
like they gave us an MRAP first. We couldn't fit that much, and it was harder to load up everything in the back. And since the back is open, you can see the rounds and everything. MA with the MATV, everything is inside.
Yeah.
Uh, MATV, 420 bit. MATV was my favorite MRAP. Was a gunner doing a convoy security, and I hate these little fucking hard. I hate it doing field missions. I bet you did, man. Field missions was. I remember the engineers didn't want to go over to our cop because he was no security. Like, we're gonna have extra security. Like, no, hell no. You just fucking gonna help us, motherfuckers. The engineers didn't want to go in.
I
But
don't
hey,
know.
man, I was not a driver, but I sure was doing a lot of driving in Afghanistan.
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
that was interesting for sure because it was just like there's like no rules to the road or nothing, and it's
it
like
was
you're like you're trying to navigate it like you would here back home, and everybody else is like just doing whatever the hell they want, like 4 or 5 people on a motorcycle and just like the
yeah. It's
craziest
like
shit.
we had a. I think one of the craziest thing that I've seen on a driver. They were doing. I believe they were engineers. They were passing by from where we're at, and the driver was so excited. He like, man, bro, come here, check out my truck, check out my truck. I'm like, man, what the heck is he like so excited about? Like, I seen fucking trucks all day. Well, at the time, it was a sniper in our area that was taking a lot of a lot of people during the convoys. So what he had a round. It had to be high caliber. Can't tell you what it was, but it was right on in front of the driver's seat. Like the the glass was able to protect. Like the bullet didn't go through, but he was
Right.
so excited to show everybody that he like, man, a sniper was trying to take me out. Like that's not something you want to be bragging about, you motherfucker. Like,
Hell
I'm
no.
glad nothing happened, but he was like so excited because it was right in the middle of the sea, bro. Like right there, and the guy was so excited, like, man, I just kept on going. I like this motherfucker, super excited. Like, man,
Oh, damn.
it used to be good days, man.
Yeah.
Good days.
But
We got
yeah,
another 420 bed. I just did a live with a buddy who was a Cap Scout. We were laughing at the fact that they ride three dudes on a motorcycle. Yeah, the Scouts,
for real.
dude.
No, he's talking about like the Afghans.
The
But,
Afghans are like, man, the Scouts. Yeah, something Scouts will do too. uh,
uh, but damn, yeah, no, but yeah, when I but yeah, when I got out though, like I ended up um going and doing like security, like actually, because that's why I was kind of laughing about it because I was thinking back, I was like, damn, it was like that's exactly what it said, like all pretty much you'd be able to do, and um yeah, I ended up going and doing like a security job, like night shifts, like going and walking around like apartment complexes and stuff when I got out, and like like sketchy parts of town um that like you just shouldn't even be in at night unless you live in that area, and even the people that live in that area don't even go out at night, and it's like, and here I am, wearing like this secured, like Paul Blart, fucking walking around an apartment complex. And it was just like, man. And then, like, and so I was like sitting there and I was like, well, because I don't know where I got it from, but I had like mace. And then I had my K bar that I had bought when I was in the military. So then I was like, well, shit. I was like, you're not going to give me anything. I was like, I don't get like a nightstick or nothing. Like, and they were just like, no. They were
got a
like, no,
flashlight and I
because,
went.
yeah, not even that. I didn't even have a flashlight. They didn't even give me
They didn't give
that.
you they didn't give you a rape whistle.
Hell no. Man, it was just like, like, they didn't even give me Vaseline. But yeah, yeah, it was like I was like, "Well, forget this." I was like, "I'm not going out there without something." And so I was like walking around. Well, eventually it made it back uh, to like the bosses. And because when they outsource, like with security companies, they're only like licensed for certain things, or when they offer their services, they offer it based upon like, well, we have this price for unarmed security, and then so on. And so most places, most of the apartment complexes, they're just like, well, we just need unarmed security, just somebody to report, observe and report basically. And, so it was like, I was doing that for a while. I was there with them for about a year when I first got out, and then I had found one of the people that worked, because when I left there, I was actually one of their field supervisors, and
we
yeah,
got
yeah, a PT belt for real.
we
I
got
just
David
needed
on. All you need is a PT belt for safety. Hey, don't forget you red flashlight, man.
for real.
Uh,
I'll just change it to a blue lens. That way, everybody will leave me alone.
hey, right now that you on the far right here, we got the. Let me tell you what's going on with the. I know, yeah, both of y'all won the hats. Y'all getting the area hats, but also I find now I'm waiting on him. He was waiting on me. It's my friend Natarino. Oh, you may not, you know Natarino.
Oh yeah.
Natarino is printing out the shirts for y'all. I'm making some shirts. That no, not that design. It's a different design. So I can thank y'all for being here together with the cups. I'm getting the cups personalized for y'all. So I'm waiting right now on Natarino to print out my shirts. I think it's a badass design. I like it. So once those shirts are ready, I must send everything on a care package for everybody that been here in the channel. Man, I'm excited to be honest with you. I think it's gonna be a badass design. Hopefully, they come out good. The first run is gonna be an OD green T-shirt with the military talk in the front and Eagle in the back. So Ondorf, once I get everything, man, and you too, I must send you the care package. I think I'm excited because not only because Natarino's printing them out, but because that's my design. Like the actually, like I'm doing all my designs for the military talk.
Nice.
So I think what's going on, RRG? Thank you for coming to the channel, bro. So
Yeah.
which
Oh,
we should be
that's
doing
dope.
good. We should
Yeah.
be
No.
doing good. Hopefully, y'all gonna get him soon.
Hell yeah, man.
So,
That's sweet. Yeah, I
hey,
appreciate
yeah.
it.
Hey, so I got a question right now that I seen RRG here. I've been thinking about it's a couple of veterans that been to the channel. Like I said before, my previous channel, well, my main channel is my car channel.
Hmm.
RRG usually is actually one of the followers from the other channel. Uh, man, what do you think about bringing in after the live? You know, first do like a interview. What is his name? Dave Vinsky, the Navy guy.
Hmm.
Beautiful hot rod. So I was like, you know what? That goes together. Master Sergeant Ibarra. That's my boy Semper Fi Familia, David from Chicano Boulevard. Also got two badass rides. Like incorporate those to the channel. Like bring them in and you know talk about why they well I know why they got the cars.
Right.
But it's like bring them in so they can not just veterans but car guys. Should we do something like that? How do you think it
Like
will be?
almost like kind of like a crossover with the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's more like one of those things to like obviously like seeing like what, hobbies or whatever cuz I went back on through like on like the Spotify and like saw like the questions and stuff and I think I was trying to answer to one of them and like to me I think it looks more like at the respect of like the hobbies of like what it is that you're like
You know what?
into.
That we can do that. That can be one of the questions that I can add on to the usual questions that I have for the guests to the channel. Like, what are some? That's one question that I never asked.
Yeah.
What is some of your hobbies? What do you do? I know the only one that talked about it. It was Hiki. Hiki D brought it up about what he's doing now that he's out. He's
Hmm.
streaming live video games on what is the channel on Twitch. They go
Yeah.
live, I believe, every Friday. So he's like, I didn't even think about that. That's something we might have to add on the channel.
Yeah. Yeah, I
See how
mean
that goes.
I think it just kind of falls under more of like an aspect of just seeing like you know, like I guess kind of like what do you do like with your free time, I guess, but I mean, because obviously like I'm not gonna show you my cars because I ain't got nothing cool or nothing like
No, but
that
you
by
see
any means.
that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't understand is that okay, it's like the Navy guy, the Air Force guy that came into the channel. They didn't want to come into the channel because they don't got no war stories. Not
Right.
everybody that joined the military has war stories. I want here so you can talk about your job, talk about what you did. You don't gotta have a badass car to be like, whoa, this is my hobby. The beauty about that is that as a car guy, we all started with hoopties.
Hmm.
We all started with beat up cars, like So it's like on my free time, I kind of work on this. Hopefully one day this is what it is. I'm wow, man. 2, 3 years later, you show the end result. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like this is a slow work. Like right now is like I supposed to be working on my 75. I started working on it like 2 months ago, and it's just
Right.
halfway done, and I haven't touched it because I'm here in the live. When I'm not in the live, I'm editing, and I'm trying to like work. So it's busy. So I'm not taking care of the cars, but I'm taking care of work. And right now, I was telling one of my friends yesterday. He's like, "Man, what's going on with the 75? Are you gonna get it ready anytime soon?" I'm like, "Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I need to focus on my military talk channel for a little bit and focus on work. So right now, my main focus is work, get some money, and then the channel. Why? Because not having the channel is costing money, but it's like it's a little. Is I'm not saying that I'm dying for it, but I need a little bit of extra money coming in, so I can
Right.
do the giveaways. I'm glad area to sponsor me. I'm glad. Hopefully, I become more sponsors. That will be a way to help the channel. But it's like right now, I just reorder more cups. I bought the engraving machine and I haven't been able to use it because I've been busy. So I'm
Yeah.
sending them out to my boy Tim so he can get them engraved. I told him like, hey, I'm taking too long. Do you think you can personalize each cup for me? That way I can send this guy their cups so I can send everything out. So it's like, I gotta restock again on inventory. But it's
Yeah.
like anything, like I feel like this is more a priority right now than the cars. I feel like I can reach out more people with this, even though, I love cars, but it's like,
I
cars
think
can
it's
wait.
I think I see, and like I guess just hearing like from like what you're saying, like I think it's more on the fact that because um like you've been doing like the car situation for a long period of time, and this is like something new. You know what I mean? Like it's that feeling that you have of like it's something new that you haven't done before. So it's like learning all new things and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work,
Well,
and you know and um but I think it's also the fact that because there's just so many of us out there, and that's like so many stories,
yeah, but it's
of
the
just
same thing. Look, this right here, I'm doing it right now with a military talk. But if you ever go back and check out my personal channel, I was literally talking before I got connected with you earlier when we're trying the new system that didn't work.
Mhm.
I was talking to one guy from California, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I saw your message. I haven't been able to talk to you for a minute, but this and that." And he's like, "Hey, man, are you gonna continue doing your interviews?" Because I actually all the setup that I have here, the microphones, the cameras, the tripods, comes from my regular channel, and I used to interview people at shows about their cars. So the
Right,
same way we got a military story, some of the cars got a story behind them.
right,
Some of them they have them since they were in high school. Some of them they were like their grandpa's car got passed down to their dads, and now it's their car. So it's like a lot of people what they do, they just go show the cars, and that's it. I always like getting stories on everything. I is like not gonna lie, this Coke sign right here is here for a reason. Beautiful story. It's not my story. The way I got this one, it was given to me, but it's a story behind it. And I want Dave to come over here to the channel and give us that story. Like it's I'm telling you, car related and military is like this, bro. Like
Yeah.
every veteran, most of the veterans that I know, either they're car guys or I got them as customers. So
Yeah.
it's like they go hand to hand, but at the same time, like on my other channel, I wanted to keep it car related. I want to keep this, military only. But it's a lot
Right.
of stories out there, and the stories is that's what I like. I love hearing people talk. I love learning about somebody because
Yeah.
now what we got 420 um where
420
we at
bit.
420 bit here, new to the channel. Well, I don't know if he how long he's been here, but it's like now he can listen to these stories.
Yeah.
RRG, another guy that he asked me before when if I was a veteran, what was my job? Now we here, he crossed over to this channel. So
Right.
it's nice, bro. It's nice being able to share this, not just my story, but your story to other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I used to, like I had said, like the last time that we had done this, um, like I used to be, and none of those guys are military, but like my buddy that had wanted to do the buddy system, he wasn't able to get in. I can't remember why. There was like some reason why he wasn't going to be able to do it. I think it was like something medically is why he wasn't going to be able to join. But originally, and I mean, I've known him what going on like 10 plus years, something like that. And we actually met because of cars, because of the fact that like I was in a car, like I was in a car club, and it was when I had my 1991 MR2 turbo, and I freaking love that car. Like if I could get another one of those, I would get it in a heartbeat. And I had gotten that car when I was working in collections, and the company that I was working for, their parent company was the telemarketing side, and because that's where I actually had started before I went to collections was in telemarketing, and um and his buddy worked for the telemarketing company and had got him the job, and somebody had, because like a lot of the people, because I had worked there for so long that a lot of the people knew me, and they were just like, hey, they were like, somebody else has got your car. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, because mine was the only one that I've seen, and I don't know if you've ever seen what they look like, but um they're like a dime a dozen. Like
What is it
not
called?
it's a MR2, it's a Toyota MR2 turbo, and like you don't see them very often. It's a two-seater. Some of them have T-tops, some of them have like sunroofs. It's a mid engine rear wheel drive car, and it was basically, it was called a poor man's Ferrari. But yeah, somebody was like, hey, somebody else has got your car or whatever. And I was like, what? And so I went outside and I saw it, and I was like, damn. And it was like, cause mine was white and his was white also. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was like, talk about coincidence, you know? And yeah, we were sitting there talking
Is
about
that
it.
it?
Yeah, that's it right there. And yeah, we were like, I went out there and I was standing out there smoking on break or something, and he had walked out, and I only asked him because I was like, because I knew it almost everybody there, and I knew when someone new got hired because it was just like, well, you're new, I can tell, you know. And so I was like, hey, I was like, is that your car? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I heard that's your car, and I was just like, I was like, yeah, it's I love it, you know. And here we are like 12 years later, like he's I mean he's like my best friend like in the world. And like
Dang.
I have an older sister, but I mean I consider him, you know, like my brother. And um yeah, it's like, because even with him, like, just another thing where it's like, you know, and I feel bad because sometimes like we don't talk as much, but it's just like anybody else, even with guys like from the military, that it's like I could not talk to anybody, you know, for months, and then turn around and start talking to people, you know, like as if we were just talking yesterday.
Yeah. No, but I think that that's life, man. That's what happens to everybody. We all focus in life, and I guess one of the things that I do love about this channel is that this is helping us reconnect a little bit. You know, like catch on, and I feel like not only is bringing like bringing us together, but also like meeting other people. I feel like it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, because like I say, man, everything revolves about technology these days. And I said it before. One day we might be gone, but this is what it's gonna be. Once we're gone, this is gonna stay, and you know it can be passed on to the next generation. They can see the difference between even right now. We can see the difference between the military. One of the I'm not gonna lie. One of the videos that I do love how he answered the questions and how he gave his 2 cents about the old military and new military is Neil. Neil nailed he nailed every answer, bro. Like
Oh yeah.
about
Yeah,
his
for sure.
feelings towards the military. Um and I tell people like if you because a lot of us veterans we talk like earlier this week, I think it was gonna Tuesday or Wednesday. One guy came in and he's like, man, what's going on, bro? You remember me? I like, man, not really. I get a lot of people, you know, in and out. And
Right.
he bust out his military ID, and he like, man, I was infantry. We're talking about our time in Afghanistan. He's like, how you been? You been doing good? I like, yeah, man, I've been good. And he's like, anything new? I like, hell yeah, something new. And I pull up. You see the stickers right here. I make some
Yeah.
stickers, so I was like, I carried them. You know, I have them on me. And I like, here it goes, bro. Since the last time I seen you, you know, I opened up this channel, and
Hmm.
he's like, man, bro. But he's like, he was telling me that, man, you know, I had to get out because I couldn't do military no more. And I was like, you know what, bro? Go look at the last live that I did on Friday and listen to this guy talk about the old military and the new military. Mind you, you know, it's been people that been before us. Is they probably felt the same way when we were coming in because we didn't have as rough as they did. But it's like now we are seeing the new military. So that's been passed on. It's not just us. It's been different generation to generation. But I feel
Right.
like the more it moves in, the weaker the military is getting. And you know, I always tell them like, you know, you want to watch the first episode, watch this guy right here and listen to the answers. So it's
Mm.
like right now I think that one is like that one I left the live out on that one. I think the one that is gonna be dropping off tomorrow is gonna be the one from Tim, also my Navy guy. That live is coming out tomorrow. So I'm not trying to make sure every Friday I have a video out, but I'm not trying to do shorts during the week, depending on how busy I am. But I know for sure every Friday I gotta have a video out.
Yeah.
If I don't have it on Friday, I'm gonna do the live on Thursday and let that one play. But it's like I feel like it's good talking, bro. Like it's good talking because we kind of serve the same time. but
Hmm.
we all experience different things. And
Yeah.
him being still in the military right now, he's in the process of getting out. And talking about how he feels and why he's getting out. I think that helps a lot, man. I want to
Yeah.
bring back. I want to bring back Master Sergeant Infante, because once we finished the live, he was here talking to me for a while, and I was like, man, bro, I forgot to ask you about what would you take during the transition, and he's like, whoa, look what I think. I'm like, don't tell me nothing. Next time you on the channel, I
Hmm.
want to open up with that question, like because Master Sergeant, bro, like he's Wilson, First Sergeant Wilson. Is like they're on a position that I never had or anything. But it's like they can see how higher ups are dealing with this transition. So
Yeah.
it's like,
And I was like sitting there because like even when I was watching, because like I wasn't able to see Wilson's live, but then when I was there for like Neil's and stuff, but like watching Wilson's and like seeing Neil's, I was just like, for me, it was like not to like I guess like validate like my feelings or anything. Like it was just like it's almost kind of like having like an insider, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
to where it's just kind of like, well, I got out, but there's somebody else that's still in, so I can kind of see like what's going on, and because all we see is like what everyone else sees again, like being on the opposite side of the glass, in a sense of like, oh, I just have to watch the news, and you pick and choose what you want to believe or not believe. And so it's like hearing what they had to say. And I understand, like with Wilson, like he's in a position where it's like coming on this, you don't know who's going to end up coming across it and then sit there and be like, oh, look at this video that I found of First Sergeant Wilson, sitting there, saying this and saying that. And then of course, sure enough, I'm sure it'll end up going to somebody, and then they'll be like, oh, he'll be in somebody's office or whatever. And like with Neil, I don't understand, I think, fully, I guess, like what his position is, like still within the military, like if he's just kind of like in the training situation. But regardless, it's like you're still in. And I guess it was nice to hear, like, okay, like we weren't just making this up. Like
yeah,
we weren't, it wasn't just a figment of our imagination that, these guys that are starting to come in, even just before leaving Polk, there were some guys that it was like, yeah, like I noticed even when I was in like a leadership position that it was like, yes, like did I notice the fact that some people didn't respond to certain things? But for me, I guess like I don't know. Like I have because and I noticed that I even have that same issue. Like even with like you know like dealing with my kids or something. That it's just kind of like uh you know I guess like me working on myself to like realize like, okay, this isn't working. What do I need to do to make this person still do what I want? But in a sense, like I don't want to come off as, you know, weak, to where it's like you feel like, yeah, you're doing what I want, but you feel like you can like walk on me, or whatever. And I think that was kind of like my issue, was that it was trying to even figure out, okay, like, some people listened and some people didn't, and it was just kind of like, but I also noticed that certain people, and um they so like for instance, what just comes to mind is like one person in particular was like really good at PT. And I remember that like he would like half and half like listen to me, and but then it was like, he was really good at PT, he was like a PT stud, like all this stuff. And it was like he would only end up listening to someone that was a PT stud. And it was just like, like it had to be an NCO that was scoring high on the PT test. And to me it was just kind of like, you're in a way like you it's like you're that's when I started, I think, noticing like where the army was kind of going, and like how like certain people were coming in, because it was like you're it's like they're allowing you to dictate how the military is going to go,
Yeah.
as
Well,
opposed to letting
on
the NCOs be NCOs.
yeah, look, I got a comment real quick. 420 bet. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I like hearing other bet stories. I have been out. I have been out for 8 years, and I miss it every day. I will definitely be watching. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. I'm glad you came to the channel. I'm glad you're still here. But let me go back and touch up on that. Um, Actually, today I had the. I really don't do deliveries, like, but it's whenever it's a big company and they're close to home, I don't mind it. So we had a big delivery today, big order. I sent it out. I went and I personally delivered the order to one of these companies.
Mhm.
And the owner of the company was there, and he was telling, I guess, I don't know, he was not his son, but they're related. And he's like, "Hey Juan, how long you were in?" I like 5 years. And then he's like, "Can you tell him about the military?" I was like, "Look, I cannot tell you about the new military, but I can tell you, about my military when I was in." And
For
he's
real.
like, "Is it true that they make you feel like nothing and they treat you really bad?" And I was like, "All right, look, it is one thing. You got one thing right, but you're not right. Like right now, the way the military is, they don't do that anymore." And he's like, "Oh, so it's better." I like, "No, it's not better. That's worse." And he's like, "Well, if they don't treat you bad, how is that worse?" And I was like, "Look, I'm gonna tell you my experience. When I went in, they broke me down. They made me feel like garbage. I didn't even want to be there no more. But then, I was getting shaped into a better soldier. I
Mhm.
was getting shaped into becoming a leader, becoming an NCO. So once I understood why they were doing to me what they were doing, I realized that everything happens for a reason. And not he's like, and they do that to every soldier. Like, no, it's some soldiers that you really can, like, some soldiers that they're not gonna be there for long, and they're gonna go out. So a lot of people don't waste their time on them, or they just don't want to listen. So it's like one of the things that I see is that in order to become a soldier and get all your potential out, you need to be broken down. You need to be, teach from the beginning. Because the one thing that Bearden told me is like, as soon as I got to the unit, he's like, everything that you were taught during basic training, forget about it. You don't need none of this garbage over here. We're gonna teach you how we want you to be. And they start teaching us the right way. It's like basic
Mhm.
training is just basic information for everybody. But this is what you need to learn. So remember this and get some from some of the training that you got from basic training, but don't apply that to everything, because this is how I want you to work. And it is true, bro. Like, it's like when I get new people, "Oh, I've been here." Like, no, I know you've been working, but you don't work the way I want you to work.
Right.
This is how I want you to work. Why? Because I want to shape this worker, this soldier, to my way. Why? Because I put this to the test. I failed 20 times. Out of those 20 times, this one time, it was good. So I know this
Mhm.
one thing that I'm doing is working. But if you can tell me, hey, man, we might be able to do this. Hey, you know what? Let's try it for a week or so. Maybe you're into something. But it's like, it's a give and take. Like, it is the same with the military. But now that you're taking that from the NCOs, now that you're taking that, you cannot train them, you cannot discipline them, how are you going to train a real soldier?
Right.
It's no way, bro. It's no way.
Yeah. No.
So,
I mean, because I mean, even like uh, when I was in basic training, it I think there were certain things that they were like starting to introduce, but all the drill sergeants that we had were still like that old school mentality. So it's like they tried, I guess you want to say, to like implement some things, but at the same time, they were just like, no, like we're gonna train you the way that we know how to train you. And um, because I know like when we showed up to basic training, because I know I didn't really touch on it last time, but it was just like um but it really was like it was a culture shock for sure, because it was just like, yeah, it's one thing like, you're getting yelled at by like your parent or whatever because you did something wrong or, whatever, like that's one thing, but when you're in a situation where like here's another grown adult, standing right in front of you, like yelling in your face, and you can't do anything about it, because like for me, for instance, like I've never even been in a fight like in my entire life. Like I've never been in uh like any sort of altercation like that. And so it's like, like I wasn't even good at like combatives and all that shit because it was just like I'd never been in a fight because most of the time I just tried to keep myself like out of that type of situation. Like I talked more than just resorting to like that. But yeah, like going through into like basic training, like that was just um like a totally different situation that I don't know how many times I just sat there and was just like I just want to go home. Like I don't even want to be here. Like I think I fucked up, like like this
yeah.
is but yeah, because I think within the first week, like they almost were like, like threatening to get rid of me because they had us do like that first obstacle course. And I had never I had never jumped a wall before. Like, like jumped up on a brick wall or anything. And so I was like sitting there and they have one of the obstacles is like jumping over that, like I think it was like a 6 foot or 7 foot wall. And um I I come running up on it, and I'm like looking at it, I jump up and I just like slammed like right right into the wall. And they were just like, get up over that wall, or whatever. And I'm just like, I'm trying. Like I was like, I don't know how the hell to fucking jump over a wall, like I've never done it before. And it's like, and they're just like, showing me or whatever. And they ended up they ended up making me go over, they called it like the girl wall because it was like like I think it was like 3 or 4 feet tall or something like that, or whatever. So it was just like you basically just stepped right over it because I just kept sitting there just smacking off the off the wall. But yeah, it's definitely different, because even at like where I work now, like our director. of operations. Like he's prior military. Um, the guy that's in charge of our department, um, he's ex-military. He's ex-Navy. Um, I've talked to him a couple of times, about this, and um, trying to get him over here so that he can come on. Because honestly, like I just want to hear his story,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I think that
Let them know,
like that.
man.
I'm trying, I'm trying to get
Hey,
him
look,
over,
we got a
dude.
comment. 420 bit. Well, let me go back. Hi Tio, love watching you. This is Esteban. That's my little nephew right there.
Mm.
Then I got a 420 bit. I started noticing around 2013 that the culture was changing. Privates coming to the unit with no discipline definitely made our jobs harder. I am down for that. Do you have an email? Yes, man. Military Talk by JC at gmail.com. I'm gonna type it by JC at gmail.com. So yeah, man. 2013, man. 2013, we were still good in our unit, man. You can ask this guy. Every soldier that came to the unit, no discipline, we will fix that right away. It
Hell
was
yeah.
no, it was no knuckleheads around. But then once it started, 2014, 2015 came around with those what do they call it? No hazing policy.
Oh
No
yeah.
hazing policy. They had the stress cars coming out. Yeah, that was it. That was my last. That was the last thing. They're
Yeah.
like, man, that was ridiculous. But yeah, I noticed it. I started noticing it back in 24 towards the end of 2014 when I saw. That's when I saw the first stress card. It was ridiculous, ridiculous, bro.
As
But
soon as
hey,
I
man,
heard about as soon as I heard about that, I was just like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Give me a freaking break!" I was like,
now when I noticed that, bro, is whenever like I supposed to go with one of my friends. I pushed him to join the military, right? So we supposed to go to basic training together. At the time, he was a U.S. resident, not a citizen, and he couldn't go to basic training with me because his resident card was gonna expire in 2 months. So they told him you gotta go back, renew your card, and then you can come back in. So he went. I think he joined maybe a year after I did. And
mm,
while he was in basic training, every weekend, bro, I would see him posting pictures, doing all this and that on the cell phone. And one day I called him just for shits and giggles, and he answered. And I was like, "Shouldn't you be in fucking basic training?" Oh yeah, we can have our phones during the weekend. And like we didn't fucking have our mail for like the first couple of weeks. We couldn't even send letters out. We couldn't have anything. Red face.
hell
What
no.
was it? Red face and blue face.
Yeah,
Whatever. I can't remember what it was. We couldn't have no mail. They took like no mail at all whatsoever. And once we start getting mail, the drill sergeants will open the mail and look at read it before you do, and then they give it to you. I like, what kind of
yeah,
bullshit is that?
yeah. They
Yeah.
had us. Shit, they had us like they had us out because the building that they had us in, it was like 3 stories tall because it was like the old barracks that had been there at Knox for like ever. And they had us anytime that there was mail, they would have us line up outside, like in the outside of our rooms in the hallway, and then like they would like call off your name or whatever, and you'd have to like come out and like run all the way down to the drill sergeant, get your mail, open it up right there in front of him, and if there was like anything, he would just take it, and then you had to like run back and then get back in line and like hug the wall as tight as you could because the hallways were so like narrow that it was just like somebody comes hauling ass past you, they're just gonna end up knocking right into you. But yeah, like, yeah, some of the stuff, like, I'm just kind of like, man. I mean, but I don't know, because like part of me, like when I was hearing like Neil and like Wilson like talking about it, that it's just like at first, like my thought was like, yeah, like this is stupid or whatever. And it still is. Like, I mean, because just like Neil said, it's like you're not training as you're gonna fight.
Yeah.
Like you're making the military weak. And and it's like, yes, I understand like times are changing because it's just no different than like us, getting older. And it's like half, the things, like some of the things that uh like for instance, like some of these like slang words that are out there now, that I'm just like, what the hell are you even saying?
Oh yeah.
Like what is it, like like skibbity and like all this other stuff, and I'm just like, what the hell are you even saying? And then I was like thinking about it, and I was like, oh, this is what my parents must have thought when like when when we were saying some things where it was just like, oh, that's tight, or whatever. And it's just like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I get it now. It's like almost like, damn, like I'm where my parents were now,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
think
just
that's what
like,
it is, bro. Like we're getting older. We're getting older, and now we with the grumpy old people. I guess that's what you can say. But yeah, man, like one of the things that I do love talking is to people that are still in about the change between the old military, the new military. One of the things that I like, to be honest with you, is that um, this channel right now is even earlier. I told you I was talking to a friend from California. He's like every time that we talk about depression, we talk about shit like that, right? Like you never know what it is. You never know what people need, and this right here is bringing awareness, a little bit of awareness for more people. Is
yeah.
like um not just military, but in general, like guys really don't talk about being depressed, don't talk about
Mhm.
feeling weak, like. And I feel like people coming here and other people listening and just listening that that's something normal that we all go through, but we all deal with it on a different way. That's that awareness is one of the things that I've been liking about this, because it's more people reaching out and like, man, bro, like I never wanted to say this, but I see you open about it. So I like, well, that's the reason why we're here. It's not just talk about that, but it's like that's another good thing that I like. These not just the stories, be like it's a little bit of everything, man. Like I like learning from people. I like learning about your career, learning about your life, how you ended up being where you at. Talking about your transition, talking about what are the plans for after you get out. And man, I just feel that we are kind of doing what I wanted to do here.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we get better at it. Well, I get better at it. I need to become a better host. If that what you want to say, like I don't know. I feel like I'm learning little by
I
little.
think I think because like I just kind of take it as like, honestly, I mean, because and even for people that are watching right now, and if you are like a vet or whatever, um, and you're thinking about it, or if somebody like ends up watching this like later on, because I remember when I first saw the videos, and I was just like, you know, I wanted to get on here like the first time that I came on, because I wanted to use my experience and the things that I went through to help the channel.
Yeah,
And because and that was like my goal the first time, but at the same time, like I was just like, oh man, like I don't know, because it's like, I mean, like there's like 6 people watching right now, but it's like, who knows? Like it could all of a sudden jump up to like 100 people. And now I'm like, oh God, like stage fright, or whatever. And
Yeah.
I even told you too, I was like, oh man, like, I don't know, like I'm pretty nervous about doing it and all this stuff, but at the same time, it was like kind of putting you back into like basic training in a way, where it was like you you have to just jump in like head first and
Yeah.
and just roll with it. And now, like, I mean, because I know that I hit you up already once before about like, hey man, if you need me to come back on or whatever. Because to me, like, I see it now as
And you're not the
like
only one. I got other people that like been telling me like, "Hey man, come on." But it's like I know I love this. I love that I can call people that been already in the channel. But I want to bring like new people in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
man, hopefully we got 420 bed. He's really active right now. Let me read one of his comments. My best friend is still in. He calls me. He calls me all the time about his jokes. I'm being dumbfounded by some of the stuff that is going on in the army right now. Man, bro, yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Um, so yeah, man, like this, like I say, it's different times, man, different times.
yeah, for
But
sure.
hey, I
But
really, I really enjoy. I'm enjoying this, bro. Like again, 420 bit. First time I see him commenting, I'm glad he found the channel. Hopefully, he comes to the channel, and this is what I like. He's like the Navy guys that I had, like I was Marine that I have here, the Air Force guy. I told him, I was like, look, man, I don't want to be rude. I got his phone number and everything, but I was like, he was trying to talk to me like before the live. I like, look, I don't want to be rude, but I don't want to talk to you. Like, let me talk to you the day of. And you know how we always go like 15 minutes, 20 minutes before we go on it. So,
yeah,
we click in, I sent him the link, and we were talking about and I told him, look, bro, I really don't mean to be disrespectful. I don't want to be rude. I appreciate you coming to the channel, but I don't want to know nothing about you until we get to the channel. Why? Because I want those answers to come out straight from the camera. Like, and he been working 420 bet. I'm learning a little bit too much about you, man. I can't be doing this. But it's like I can wait, man, for him to come over to the channel, and hopefully next week or whenever he get time. I'm also waiting for some females that been in the military. Hopefully they come through. Um, it's like anything. I want to have a little bit of everything here, get
yeah,
everybody's perspective about their experience. Some of them they still in the reserves, so it's like I cannot tell a female what to expect in the military because I'm not a female.
yeah,
So if someone else comes over and like, hey, you should do this or don't do this, that's gonna be pretty badass. Like, I want the channel to be expand to everybody. Like, have a little bit of everything. That way we can learn from everybody. So
yeah.
hey, man,
Like
so far,
I think,
so far, I think we're doing good. I think we're doing
yeah,
good.
yeah. I think like because now to me, like it was just more of like I treat it almost as if like I'm just doing like a video call with you, like just like talking about just whatever and just seeing how you're doing and things like that. But yeah, I think like with that though, for sure, like just getting also like that's like that point of view like from the military, like that would be pretty cool too, like to be able to see because with us like it's very like, I mean, at least with what we did was very like male dominant, so it was like,
Yeah,
but I know that I want to say it was like just before I got out. I think it was like the year that I was getting out was the first they had like in that class of scouts, they had like females and like and I was just like, ooh. I was like,
Yeah,
you guys have fun with that. I was
yeah.
like, I don't. I mean, and it's no disrespect,
And you
obviously.
know
I mean,
what, man,
if
bro,
you
it
can
would be
hang,
badass if one of them
like,
come over here. I would love to interview a Cumberland's female. I really would
that,
like.
yeah, it would be
Cause it,
interesting to see.
yeah, because to me, you know, I got, you know, I gotta put my 2 cents in it. But I don't want like I would like to have somebody that is actually a Combat Arms MOS female to come to the channel. Maybe she's gonna prove me wrong. Maybe she's gonna tell me to shut the fuck up. I don't know. You know, or maybe she's gonna
Yeah,
be like, you know what, you're right. Hey, you
I
know,
think
it's like
I just think like my aspect on it is that it's like, as long as like you can do the job, and like, and you can do the same thing,
it's
that
different,
we're
bro.
doing, and
It
there
can,
isn't
it
any.
can be, it can be, bro. The hygiene on a female and a guy is way different.
Well, yeah, I
Imagine,
mean that.
think about it. Think about it. In Afghanistan, going out for 3, 4 day missions with no showers, no toilets, no nothing. We are guys.
Right.
We're different. Imagine a female on her cycle
Yeah.
for a whole week outside in the field. You know, it's like that can be actually health wise is not good because they can get sick for not, you know, not cleaning up or whatever. You know, I don't know. So it's like I don't see that working out. I don't know.
I was gonna make a comment about, like, I mean, I guess, like, to that argument, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, I do understand, and I understand your point, but, like, I think my aspect is more on the fact that, like, just like with us going out to the field or whatever, like, it was our responsibility, to bring, like, hygiene stuff that we needed, you know, to be able to do what we needed to do, or whatever. But
But
it's
it's
like,
different on hygiene to their hygiene. It's
well,
not
I
the
mean,
same.
well, think about it in this sense, like for instance, like when Wilson said, and even I experienced this somewhat of the same thing, that it's like I never went, I guess you want to say, like, took a poop in the woods. Like, I never
Oh
done
shit, I
that,
did.
and like, how many field exercises I went through where I didn't go and do that for, like, sometimes we were out there for a couple of days, sometimes we were out there for a couple weeks, and
Yeah.
you know how many times I ended up not doing anything until we got back. I
Hell no,
mean,
I
I'm
would have
just
been
saying,
damn.
like, I'm just saying, like, that's, I guess, what I'm like, I guess that's to my point, like, to me, like, the whole hygiene situation, like, that's, like, that
The
to
least
me
of your
doesn't,
worries, maybe.
like, me that doesn't, like, dictate how you do your job, like, if you
No,
can do
it
your
does
job.
because look, I got most of my workers are females. And when they are on their cycles, hey, I'm cramping, I really can't function today, or I really can't do this. How you gonna do that in the field? How you gonna do that during time of war? You come with arms, they don't care if it's your cycle or not. I'm just saying, like, that's
Well,
all
right,
I
but I
would
mean,
love.
like, but, like,
I
looking at
would
it from
love
the
to have.
aspect of, like, but looking at it from the aspect of, like, the civilian side as opposed to the military side, like, on the civilian side, you don't really have, I mean, you personally, like, as an employer, sure, you have some say so, I guess, but not really, because obviously they have, PTO, or, whatever, that they can, like, take that time off, and stuff like that. But, like, in the military aspect of it, yeah, sure, like, you gotta suck it up. Like, it is what it is, and, like, you gotta fight through it and stuff like that, because, like, combat's not gonna stop just because of that, and
That's
I
exactly
think
what I'm
that's,
trying
like,
to say.
but that's I think that's, like, to my point, is that it's like, you if they're if a female is able to like fight through that situation, because obviously they have that like against them when it comes to like a combat arms job, of how long like sometimes, we may be out there for. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I think the biggest concern is like if I go down, like, are you going to be able to drag, a 200 pound, person, off the field, you know?
So I got a comment. I got 420 bit. Being in a non combat arms MOS in a QM unit at Campbell, it was hard when he came down to having females in the field. I was happy when I got to an FSC to go to when I will go to Hawaii. So, hey man, that's a good point. I would like you see. I definitely need this guy over here. Like he dealt with that. We didn't.
Right.
So I don't know what he meant about being hard in the field. And probably what I'm talking about. Like I don't know. That's why I would love to have somebody over here. But let's go back a little bit. We got female medics, female MTs. They gotta be ready 24/7 too. So it's like,
Yeah,
well,
but I
maybe
mean,
the
if you notice, most of the time when we had a medic attached to us, it was usually a male.
yeah, yeah, no, but I'm talking about like other units, like not all, well, yeah, for us because we were combat arms. That's different for us. It's not the same for everybody else.
But I mean,
Do you
what if
went to
they had put?
Guantanamo?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so think about it. Whenever we went to the A station in Guantanamo, it was mainly females. It
Oh,
was
I don't
few
know.
guys.
I never went.
Oh man, I had to go over there. So it was mainly females, and then
Mhm.
I did see some Navy female MPs over there. So it's like MPs is kind of like I don't know how you want to, but it's Navy though. Like Navy, they don't see really combat, so it
Right.
will be different. I don't know. If that's considered combat in the Navy. I don't know, but it's like they do have some female medics that they might. I don't know if they. I'm pretty sure they gotta go through field training exercise too. So
Yeah.
it's like I will be. I would love to talk to a female veteran. I do got a couple of
Yeah. No.
friends that they're female veterans. Again, I trying to talk to them, and hopefully they come to the channel. So one of them
Yeah.
is a
No.
EMT.
I think it would be interesting, like if you could end up getting somebody, or a female that is in like a combat arms or was in a combat arms, um, like situation, just because, like, I don't know. I mean, that's just how I see it. I mean, obviously, like at that time, like when we were in, it was just kind of like when there was first like whispers of it,
Yeah,
like being a thing. I know everybody was just like, oh,
against
like
it.
that's not gonna happen, or whatever. And then there was some people that was just like, because one of the biggest things is like, if somebody gets shot, are you gonna be able to pull that person off the
With all
field?
that gear, bro, are you gonna be able to
And
pull that person to? Yeah, hey, that
but see,
is.
but I think that's
But
like,
it's
to
the
my
same with
point, is
guys
that it's
though.
like, if there's some dudes that like, because I mean, even with us, like there's some dudes that they don't they can go out and do all the training and stuff like that, but then on their free time they weren't doing anything. Like it was like sitting in their barracks room doing absolutely nothing. And I was guilty of it sometimes too, but there was a lot of times that I was going to the gym, like when we were in like Guantanamo. I was going to the gym with Sergeant Martinez, uh freaking, I just
Rios,
forgot his name. Rios and Sanchez.
Sanchez,
And and it was like, I was going to the gym with them like all the time, and it was just like, you know, so it's up to you what you're doing with that free time, because then it's like, when a situation like that happens, like, are you going to be able to pick me up? You know,
Yeah.
like, and so I mean, well, that's I guess that's why, like, to my point is, it's just like, if you can do your job, because I mean, it's no different than like what I'm doing now, like doing HVAC. That it's just like, um, you know, there's females that do HVAC also, and I mean, it's not obviously the same thing in any sort of aspect, but but it's just like, if you can get up there and be up on the roof for a couple hours, or whatever, like, because my biggest thing, like when I started, um like, because I freaking hate heights. Like, I'm not big on heights. And it's funny because, like, because when I was in the military, like, we had to do like Jacob's ladder, you know, and for the longest time I didn't know how to climb a rope. And I had finally, like, somebody had taught me. I can't remember who it was, but I remember somebody had taught me how to, like, climb a rope and all that stuff. And I didn't have a problem with heights, like, back then, and then all of a sudden it was like I started doing this, and I was just like, the first day I was on the job, right? So I had asked them, I was like, "Hey," I was like, "What do I need to wear?" And they were like, "Oh, just regular clothes is fine," like, because they provided us with, like, shirts. And they were like, "Yeah, just whatever type of pants or shorts and, shoes, whatever you want." And I was like, "Okay." So I went and bought um some cargo pants, and then I just wore my Vans, and um and some of these ladders, and well, I knew I had to go to the roof, but in my mind I was thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to have to climb up an extension ladder and I'll be all right." You know, Not thinking that sometimes some of the ladders are the ones that are inside the building that
Inside.
are attached to the wall, and they're like metal, like rungs all the way
You
up.
need your defined heel for those.
Oh man, like, it was like the first or second day on the job, and I had to climb up to the top of one of the buildings, and and the ladder is not that tall, but like, climbing with Vans on, like, that those things were like going like that, like bowing and shit, and I was just like, dude, this freaking hurts. But it was already nerve wracking because I was like, I'm gonna fall off this damn thing, and still, even now, like, I have somewhat of an issue, like, when I'm by myself, uh, which is something that it's funny, and I end up having, like, multiple things go through my head, so it's like I wanna finish one thing and then I start talking about another, but it's um, like so mainly I work by myself, and and so it's like I go to a school, and some of the schools, they have ladders that aren't that high. There's other ones that have like 15, 20-foot ladders, so you're like 15, 20 feet up in the air, and you have to open up the hatch for the roof access. And uh, well, apparently they were having a lot of issues, so they started putting padlocks on the roof
On the top.
access.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have this little tiny master key that you have to go up there 15, 20 feet, and then you're like having to like do this, like hang on to the ladder, and then with your other hand fiddle with this little damn key, and then get the hatch open and all that stuff. Well, uh, I remember there was one of the guys that I work with. I was climbing up the ladder, and there was actually like a scuttle hole, so there was like actual, like, wall around you, but it was like pretty high up there. well, I didn't realize like that I could lean back enough to put my back against the wall and then like have my feet on the ladder
I'm
and then
ladder.
have my yeah, and I mean it's probably not OSHA regulated, but 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 it's like that's the only that's one way that you can do it because there's not enough room for you to fit your arm back behind the ladder, so you have to do that. And but even like to this day, I mean, like I go on a lot of calls by myself and I don't try to think about it, but then when I have someone with me, I end up like freaking out because I'm like, oh, okay, like I have somebody there that I can depend on to catch me, or so, I don't know. It's weird. Like
So
I
let
start
me,
getting all type of weird things in my head when I'm like sitting there climbing these ladders. Like I get up to the top and I'll be sitting there and I know my hand is grasping onto something, but I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I almost forget that my hand is grasping onto something. And then it's like in my head, I start like, it's almost like it's like telling me, like, hey, you need to let go. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, and I start freaking myself out sometimes. But, but yeah, I mean, just with that whole situation though, I mean, it's like, it, I don't even know where I was going with it, but it's just like,
so
I
let
don't
me
know.
tell you. I'm talking about heights. Airsoft school. We're coming back from West Point. Couple of us got to go to airsoft school, and Sergeant Fleet for some reason picked me to go to airsoft school. So I like cool, whatever. I
That's
go.
because you're high speed.
So I went out there, bro, and let me tell you, I'm afraid of heights. I can't do heights at all. So I was like, man, I don't know how this is gonna go. So the first week of training, they send you on a tower, right? I believe it's like 35, 40 feet high. Can't remember.
Yeah.
And you gotta climb the fucking tower. One side of the wall is gonna be it had the wood going all the way down, and then the other side of the wall is nothing. It's just the platform, and then it just free fall all the way down. So the first side where you training for the first week, it got a wall on the side, right? So you can use your feet as a leverage, and when you're rappelling down.
Right.
So I'm climbing, right? I'm climbing all the way up, and I was like, man, what the heck? By the time I get up, I'm fucking scared, bro. Like I'm shaking. That's how
Mhm.
scared I am. I'm fucking shaking. And then they tell you as soon as you get on top to the as soon as you get on top, make sure you get on your forwards, and then just crawl over here. We're gonna show you how to hook yourself, and then you're gonna rappel down. Don't be scared. If something happen, the hook that you're gonna do, if somebody is at the bottom, they just gonna call on belay, and they just gonna pull the rope, and they just gonna lock you in wherever you are. So don't be afraid of falling.
So
So I'm like,
not to cut you off, but so while you were like walking up this thing, you didn't have anything attached to you to keep you
nothing,
from falling?
nothing. So fucking we get all the way to the top, right? And I'm fucking shaking, bro. Like, so mind you, it's like four drill sergeants. Like Sergeant Airsoft, that's what you call him. Yes, Sergeant Airsoft, no Sergeant Airsoft. So it's four drill sergeants, right? And then I get to my drill sergeant, and he's like, Airsoft, are you scared of heights? And I was like, no, Sergeant Airsoft. It's like, Airsoft, look at me. I like, yes, Sergeant Airsoft. It's like, are you fucking afraid of heights? I was like, no, Sergeant Airsoft. Like, all right, we're about to fucking find out right now. And he's like, "This is how you hook." They were teaching us how to hook ourselves before we even got to the tower. So it went to the hook, and he's like, "You hooked already?" He's like, "Yeah." So he's like Roger, Sergeant, so and like, all right, get to the edge. So you stand up, and then you start like going down slowly, like with the rope, walking
Yeah.
yourself back, right? And he's like, "So you hook?" And like Roger Sergeant Airside, like, so you're not gonna die. I was like, negative Sergeant Airside, like, well, we have to find out. Bro, when I got to the edge, he just fucking pushed me off the fucking edge. And he's like, on blade on three. Boom, they pulled the rope. Wow, right in the middle. I was like, what the fuck? I was super scared, bro. Fucking
Mm-mm.
scared. And then he's like, Ursula, hurry the fuck up. Get your ass back over here, blah, blah, blah. Bro, I had to run back again to the fucking top again and back with him. He's like, so I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you scared of heights? Rogers on her side, like, wrong fucking answer. Hook yourself up. Fucking hook myself up. Boom, push me again. I like, motherfucker, like, run back upstairs. Bro, he had me fucking going back and forward. At the end of training, bro, like, I was like, you know why? He was cool as fuck. He's like, you know what I did to you? I like negative. He's like, because I wanted you to get used to heights. I like, motherfucker, when you scare of heights, you don't get used to heights. It doesn't
Hell
matter
no.
how many times I go back in. I
Fuck
never
no.
got used to it. So whenever graduation came, before graduation, you got to rappel out of a Blackhawk. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of your tests. First, you go down to the other wall. You got your rucksack on. You got to rappel with the rucksack on three
Yeah.
breaks. So it's like one, two, three. You gotta be at the bottom already. And they teach you like once we say is like can't remember what was the call, but it's like once you see this right here, cut rope. We cutting the rope. Doesn't matter where you at. You fucking cutting the rope loose because the block hawk is going down. So I like,
Right.
so once you see this fucking sign, that means hurry the fuck up and get down. So it's like whenever you heavy with gear, bro, like he's hard to control yourself, especially because you got nothing to like. It's just you're free falling, bro.
It's just
So
dragging you down.
yeah, it's just crazy for a man like me being scared
Damn.
of heights during airsoft school. That was the craziest shit I ever did. When we were rappelling out of the Black Hawk, bro. Like when you're at the bottom, right? Because you're always at the bottom. Because if something happened, that if you're at the bottom of the rope, you pull the rope and you stop the other person from hitting the ground. So
Right.
it's like when you're at the bottom looking up, it doesn't seem that high. And he's like, everybody like, man, he's not that bad. Like you looking at the Blackhawk, he's not that bad. But once you're on top, it's different than being on the tower. Because now you got the Blackhawk fucking going. Everybody fucking screaming at you. And you fucking is like four of you, it's two on each door, right? So it's four of you rappelling down at the same time. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it goes quick, bro. It goes super quick.
Yeah.
When I got to
Yeah.
the top of the block arc and I looked down, I was like, fucking A, bro. Again with this bullshit. Like, and he's like, no turning back because that's your final exam. So it's like, fucking, you got to go back down. But it's like, out of all the things, the hardest thing that I did was getting to that fucking tower and I knew I was going to get pushed on. But they're like, nah, we do that so you can get used to heights. Hell the fuck no. You don't get no used to heights. But fucking
No.
climbing that tower up and down.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. That because like that dude, the guy, one of the coworker that I work with that I was training with like that first week, and like it was so awkward because he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't say anything to me because I was like, because I had gone to school for doing HVAC, and um because I was working doing before I started doing this, I was doing arm. I had ended up leaving the first security place, went to another, and was doing armed security for SRP, which is like one of the electric companies out here, and um and and I was working there when COVID hit, and we were considered like necessary employees because
Yeah.
it's a government entity, so they have to have it's in their contract that they have to have armed security. So we were always there, but uh, I was trying to move up in that, and uh, it just it didn't work out because because I wasn't gonna get, vaccinated, and I never did. I never ended up getting it. And so then I was like, well, I got to figure something else out, because I was like, this is just a job. Like, I need a career. Like, I need something that's going to be like a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And so I had decided, I mean, obviously I would have liked to have rather gone and done something like mechanic wise. But uh, it was the closest thing to where I worked, like where the school was. I could go to school in the morning, and then in the evening go and do work, and then, whatever. Well, anyway, so I ended up going to school, all that. And I got out, went and worked over here. And when I started, he, like, uh, that day that I had climbed up that ladder, because he was like, well, I got to go get something from the van. So he's like, you climb up there and get the hatch unlocked. And I was like, oh, okay. And so, like, I climbed up there and I got to the hatch, and I was like, I couldn't get my arm behind the ladder. And so I started leaning back, and you're up in this like dark hole, and it's like I'm starting to like lean back, and I'm not feeling the wall against my back, so I'm like, I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna fall. And I was just like, nope. And like I pulled myself back in, and like I climbed down, and he was like, well, he's like, did you get the hatch open? And I was like, no, like I couldn't get it. And he was like, did you try? And I was like, I honestly, I felt like I was gonna fall, or whatever. Well, we got up to the roof, and he ended up, like, he was just like, he's a very blunt person. So he was just like, look, like, if you can't open these hatches, like, you ain't gonna last here very long. He's like, you're gonna end up like, you picked the wrong thing to get into, because this is primarily one of the things that we end up doing, is having to climb
Yeah.
these ladders. And there's times where it's like you climb up, because I mean, on some of these schools, they have the ladder that you have to climb up to get to the roof. And then once you get to the roof, there's, depending on the roof you're on, you may have to climb up to another roof, and that has a ladder on the side of the building to get up over to that. And some of those are kind of sketchy too, but it's just like, I just try not to think about it. I kind of try to just picture, like, right in front of me, just focus on what's in front of me, and like picture in my mind, like, I'm not that far from the ground, or whatever, like, whatever I have to tell myself to, like, get myself up there, um but yeah, I mean, there's times where it's like you get up there, you start working on a unit or whatever, and it's like, damn, like, I got to go down and get this, or I got to go get that. And so now you're having to climb what you just climbed, and then climb down, and then climb all the way back up. And yeah, I mean, it takes its toll. And then, just being out there, like, baking on the roof, for a couple hours or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's, I mean, I enjoy it because I enjoy it, just with like the mechanical side of it. But um, do you cuz so, like, you own your own business?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. So what I do, I still had nothing to do with military. Uh, we before I joined the military, we started well, we came from Mexico in 2000, in 2002, 2004. My mom started working the flea markets, and she was working for a lady. And one of the things that I was doing, I was working always construction. So I seen people like selling uniforms, right? So we ended up. I was telling my mom, like, man, a lot of people they go and they sell uniforms. So I like, man, maybe we can find out where they buy them or what we can do. So we started looking into it, and we started selling used work uniforms out of the back of
Mhm.
a van. So that's how we started the company. We had a van. We load up the van with all the uniforms, and we go post up at different corners, like outside the what is it called? junk yards, gas stations, they would charge us like $25 to go, to go post up. And we started doing that. Then we moved out to a flea market. And whenever I joined the military, my mom opened up a small little. She rented a small little spot, so we had like a small little store. Well, she had a small little store. Whenever I came back from Afghanistan, she was working at a uh, she was working at the mall, Pasadena Mall. So I seen what she was doing, and like hell yeah. So by the time I decided to get out of the military, I noticed that my mom was paying way too much on rent by renting a place. So I was telling my dad, like, "Hey, man, we need to do better because we're spending too much money on rent. We're doing too much. We like whatever we're making is what we kind of spending on rent every month. So it makes no sense. And it was no control on inventory, no nothing. Like if they see him, we got him. And nah, they didn't. So whenever I got out the military, I took over the store. So I implemented a system where we can track inventory, where I know what I got in the warehouse. We ended up buying a property in Pasadena, and we built a store. So we sell work uniforms for refineries and regular clothes. Like we still at the flea market. My business, I bought the flea market from my mom. We've been at the
Hmm.
flea market since 2004. So we still there, the same spot. And we built the store in. We started construction in 2018. We finished the store in 2019, and we are now. We got our own store, and it's pretty badass because now we don't gotta go out of anybody's rules. It's our rules. We set up our times. We set up our day off, and you know, eh, that's what we do. We got a RRG. Been getting my work clothes there for years. Best prices. Thank you, brother. Yeah, trying to get good prices. Man, I'm always going out of town to look for deals. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'm going out of town. Like, I like going to talk to companies, straight with the bosses, like, with the owners. We just got, hey, RG, we got some badass shirts, man. Work right, they came in $45. Like those shirts that we just got them $45. Regular price is like 75, $85. But since
Right.
I go to the companies, I talk to the people. Sometimes when they do overstock, I get better prices. So instead of being greedy and trying to get
Hmm.
the $75, I like having repeat customers. So I give them a better price. I help them out, and they help me out because it's like instead of making $10, I only made $5. But you
Right.
flipping the money and you getting more merchandise. One of the things that I noticed is that when we came in from Mexico, it was hard to get help. It was hard to get uniforms for work. Because you go through them so quick, and we are based on helping customers. Even though some customers, man, bro, like they up there, bro. Like I mean, we got people stealing, trying to steal from the store, this and that, and that telling me pisses me off because sometimes we give clothes away, we give uniforms away. If I see that you really need it, or you're going through something, the same way I was down one day, I gotta pay that forward because somebody else helped me, and it just pissed me off when people get like that. But it's
Right.
like, ever since, that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes last week I was on the road 2 days, Thursdays and Fridays. Tomorrow I'm going back on the road. It's a 14-hour drive. So it's like I'm all over the place, bro. I'm all over the place. But at the same time I'm trying to do, what I can. Like I'm trying to do my cars, I'm trying to do my family, I'm trying to do the business. So it's hard sometimes. It's hard sometimes,
Yeah.
but we're trying to make it happen.
I mean, but it, yeah. I mean, but it obviously sounds like though, like for sure that you um like you're getting yourself in that position of like uh I guess you want to say like financial freedom, like in a sense, you know,
Well, not
or,
really.
or
It,
just
it
in the
is,
sense
but
of
it's not at the moment because we
like
still
not
like.
having to work. I guess like not having to work for somebody, you
Oh
know,
no,
like
let me tell you. Let me clarify this real quick. Sometimes it's better working for somebody than having your own business.
right.
The reason why is because you work 9 to 5. Once you clock out and that's it. You're done. You
Mm-hmm.
don't gotta worry about anything. On my side, I'm not just only responsible for getting uniforms that my customer is gonna need. Also, I'm responsible for getting good prices because if I don't have no customers, I don't got no money to pay my workers. So
Right.
if my company goes down, I'm not just taking down myself, I'm taking down everybody that is around me. So it's a little bit more pressure being able to come up. One of the things that my mom always taught me was people work because they need money. Last year, bro, November and December was one of the hardest fucking years that we had. When I told you last time that it was I couldn't sleep some days is because our business was not doing good. We went under last year. At the November and December we went under. We had never been that bad. Like to the point that, I had told my wife like we might have to sell a couple of things. We barely making payroll. But it's like the thing is like my workers, I'm always taking care of my workers. And they saw what we were going through. So they're like, hey, they asked me, are you gonna fire anybody? And I was like, look, I really don't want to fire anyone because at the end of the day, I know this is gonna pick up again. And I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be shorthanded. So if y'all can help me cutting down hours, that's something that I will appreciate. And yeah, someone took a week off, someone took 2 weeks off. Like, hey, if you want to, I can work just 30 hours instead of 40. So they helped me out, bro. Like they helped me out cutting down on payroll. And then I told him like, look, once we get back at it, man, I'm gonna take care of you. I put like. So it's like it's up and down, man. It's up and down. It's like anything. Uh, People seeing the money coming in, but they don't see everything that is going out.
Right.
Whenever we buy, we spend a lot of money, but if you don't spend money, you don't make no money. You cannot just
Yeah.
sell, and not get anything back. And
Right.
it's like back in the day, we used to have one of the things that we used to do. It was like buy 3 jeans, get 3 shirts free. But prices went up on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm talking about I used to sell pants for $1, two regular clothes, not A4, like $1, $2. Man, bro, right now I'm selling $4, $5, and people complain about it. I like, when are you gonna buy like brand new jeans, like Wrangler jeans, red cap jeans, $10, and they tripping about it. That's a
Yeah.
25, $30 jeans. And he's like, what you mean? Like, I'm always trying to, help people out, but it's like some people they're just, oh, everything is so expensive, man. You taxing everybody. But whenever they go around and find out, they come right back to the store. So it's
Right.
like for you know, we're a small moms and pop shop. It's family really. My mom and dad, they were taking care of the business. Right now, my mom sometimes goes and covers down for me, helps me out a little bit. Like last night I went to a concert, and I was like, "You think you can, cover down a couple of hours for me?" So it's like, I got those benefits. Like, since it's a family business, like I talk to my workers, say, "You think you can cover down? I want to take a little bit time off, like, shit like that." And but it's like it's hard, bro. It's hard sometimes. RRG best prices, it ain't easy. Yeah, bro. You're right. Like it's not easy, and people don't see they only see the good thing, but they don't see that sometimes it's 9, 10 o'clock and we still working.
Yeah.
Prepping for tomorrow. Getting clothes ready, and it's a lot, bro. It's a lot. One of my friends, he used to come and hang out with me, and he's like, "I like, look, bro, you can come and hang out, but I kind of gotta work." So I would come back from work and be working like separating, cleaning, marking, and he'll be just chilling. He like, man, bro, like you don't get tired. And like I get tired, but if I don't do this, no one else is gonna do it because it's just me, my wife, and my brother-in-law knocking this shit out here at the warehouse. Like, so if we
So
don't
were
knock it
you
out, no
so
one is.
were you so is this what you've been doing ever since you got out, or did you
Yeah,
actually
bro.
like
Well, at one point I was gonna as soon as I got out, like you, I applied to border patrol and
Mhm.
state troopers. But whenever I find out that they don't let you stay where you live, they can move you whatever they want. I didn't
Right,
like doing that. And then I seen that my mom needed help and they helped me when I needed. And they're getting older. So I was like, you know what? I decided just to stay back and run the business. At the beginning, my dad was kind of scared because before I joined the military, he helped me open up my own business.
right,
And just because of him, I didn't go bankruptcy. Like I was dry, I didn't have no money, I didn't have nothing. So he bailed me out. So he was kind of scared that, I was trying to come back to the business. But I told him, like, look, man, I'm a different mindset. I just got out the military. That knucklehead that used to be me back in the day, he's not there. Well, still some of there he's there, but he's like, my mindset is different. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I gotta take
right,
care of business. I gotta handle business. So that helped me out a lot, bro. Like, they helped me when I needed it, and now I'm able to repay that help by running the business. And like I told my daughters, like right now, next school year, they're gonna be taking finances, business classes. And I told him, I like, look, I didn't go to school for none of this. I'm learning everything. And it's like anything. You know, once I go sit down with owners, companies, you know, my, I gotta, I can be me all the time. I gotta be the professional me. Gotta come out. So
right.
it's like I tell my daughters, it's like, it's good to do what we're doing, but you gotta remember, you also gotta be professional. Like we cannot be. I told him we cannot be ghetto all the time. Sometimes you gotta be your professional face. So hopefully one day, bro, like we can pass this down to either to my niece, to my daughters, whoever wants to take over and keep the family business going.
Yeah,
It's not much, bro, but it's like I'm proud of what we're doing. We came from nothing and we've been blessed, and I can say that we got a little bit of something right now. Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah. No, I mean, obviously, like I don't, shit. I mean, like I wouldn't even begin to even know where to start, like with like actually like running a business or anything like that. But I mean, because like what you were talking about with it, like possibly like going under and things like that. Because I know,
that sucks, bro.
yeah, I mean, I know when I first like got out and that job that I had, because when I got out, I was at E5, and so it was like, but then I was also getting like BAH and all that stuff. So I mean, my checks every 2 weeks, were about like 2 grand, I think, something like that. And um going from that to back to like a regular job that was like what I think I started at like 14.50 or like $15 an hour or something like that. And it was just like there was I mean, there was one point where like we literally had up until I would get paid again, like we had like $1 like in our account,
Yeah,
and it was just like making it work. And and at those times, like you just think like, man, like I don't know what we're gonna be able to do or whatever. And um and it was just like not, it's like it's not enough, and it's like this isn't gonna just like happen overnight, or whatever, as much as you may want it to and things like that, but it's I think in like with anything, I mean, again, like I said, I don't know what it's like to have to run a business, but I mean, at the end of the day, like there's gonna obviously be like bumps in the road, and it's all those hard times and hard situations that you have to go through to like learn, and then like makes it worth it in the end, I guess, because it's
Yeah.
just like, you know,
No, but it's
because
like anything, bro. It's like the way I see it is I don't know everything. I haven't figured out the formula. Me and Naruino are the same way. Actually, Naruino and I we kind of connected right now. I got a couple of contracts that I'm picking up from companies, and now like, hey, bro, I need you to come over to this side because he does embroidering, he does screen printing, he does everything for uniforms. And now like, I need you with me, but I need you to work on prices because once we start getting contracts, I must send these contracts to you so you can do company logos, all of that. It's
Mhm.
like if I eat, you're gonna eat. You can't be selfish, bro. Like everyone that is around me is one thing that I was talking to one of my boys yesterday. Like I don't need no friends. I need business partners. The reason
Right,
why is like we all need to eat. But the thing is like since we self teaching, the business. Like no one is teaching me the business. I'm learning by myself. Like as I go. But what I haven't been able to figure out is how is so many corporations so big that the owner don't even gotta be there for the company to function. And on my side, if I'm not there and something goes wrong, it's just like it goes nuts. And then
right,
sometimes the problem is not the workers for the people. People go in and I seen it firsthand. I hate when people treat workers like shit. And when they fucking talk shit to my workers, it pisses me the fuck off. And then the ghetto comes out, and it's like when they sometimes I don't even gotta say shit. Like they screaming out, whoa, 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 and as soon as like, what can I do for you, man? Shut the fuck up. They don't say shit. And I some people I kicked out of the store before. I was like, hey, motherfucker, you ain't coming to fucking talk to my workers like this. The fuck is wrong with you? Oh, I'm a
right,
customer. I don't give a damn. First and foremost, if you get respect, if you give respect. If you don't give a
right,
shit, I don't give a shit. Like the same energy that you're giving me, that's what I'm gonna give you. And it's like that. Like I tell my workers, I'm gonna take care of you, but you take care of me. And they know they got it. But it's like the problem where we are is people all the time. People think that because they come into a store, they can do whatever. And I hate that. Like, well, I got money, major bitch. You ain't got no fucking money. You're fucking looking over here at used clothes. You ain't got no money. Like you talking shit. Like they talking like bad, bro. Like bad, disrespecting people. Like I don't like that, bro. I don't like that. Like we are people. We are like you don't know what the fuck I can do to you right now. Like you don't understand how fucked up
right,
you are. So it's like I really don't. I try not to, you know, associate, everything else that I do with work. Like trying to keep it separate. But
right,
sometimes they come in and meet together. Not many people know what I do. They see what I have, but they don't see what I do. And then that's one of the problems is that they see me with the cars and they're like, oh man, this guy got money. Shit, I had money at one point, but now we everything that we have we invest to the business. If
mm,
you don't invest, the business is like a baby. The more you put in, the more you get back.
right,
So it's like I haven't figured out the formula on how to do, grow this business without me being there. We tried one time. The person that we were training, we noticed that he was stealing from us right away because we gave him that opportunity to run the store for a couple of months, and then once you match the books, they don't add up at all. Merchandise missing, this and that. So it's like it's hard to trust somebody. So is now I feel like I gotta be there. I can't leave work. Like I have to be there. But the thing is, since again it's a family business, I got my mom to back me up. I got my pops. He don't like being at the store no more, but like if he didn't have to, he will be there. I got my wife to back me up and like, hey, I don't feel like going to work. Can you cover down for me? So it's shit like that. Oh, hey, you know what? You work this weekend. I fucking don't worry about it. I got it. So we
Right.
trying to look out for each other. But
Yeah.
anyways, man, shit, we've been here for 2 hours and 24 minutes, man.
I did it
Everybody
again.
that is watching, I know we got off topic like
Uh,
crazy. I'm
yeah.
venting over here.
Hey, but
Cars
that
are
no,
cars
that
are like
that's what
kids.
I was.
Yeah, you're right, bro. Cars are like kids. Matter of fact, I used to spend big old $40 on my Caprice wagon, and it's for something dumb, bro. It's like the steering wheel on the wagon. It got like a wide plastic line going across it, and it's broke. So I was like, man, it's an insert that goes there, and it's nothing. He's just broke. He's not there. He's missing. But I found it online. I was like, man, fuck it, let me get it. But those little $40, bro, add up, and I was like, hell yeah. So I'm happy, but it's like, damn. Every time I like, no one is seeing it. It's just me. But it's like I want my car to be complete. But yeah, cars are like kids, bro. You're not even lying. They're expensive. But anyways, brother, you got anything that you got before we go?
Nah, like I said, I mean, well, I guess just like, I mean, I just wanted to get on just to obviously see how you were doing, and I guess just kind of bullshit, But I mean, mainly if there's anybody that is, that's watching or that ends up coming across these and is kind of inspired by all the different videos and things like that, or wants to talk and things like that, or even the people that Cardenas has reached out to, like, don't like let that fear of what anybody's gonna think or whatever, like, who cares, like, do it for you, and do it for, put it out there for other people that may be in the same situation you're in, and you know and it may end up helping somebody, so definitely, I encourage anybody to jump on here and share your story.
I gotta. I'm listening, but I'm typing. You remember Sergeant Leota?
Yeah.
He
Oh,
just messaged me right now. It's like, hey, bro,
i-
like, look,
is he
hey,
is he
buddy, good to see your videos. Well done. Good to see some old faces doing well. Hope you kill it, buddy. Make a million doing something make me a meal doing something that you are having fun with. I like, man, I can do it by my own. I need some people coming over here. So
I
hey,
don't even
man,
I
this
don't
this
even
this
want I don't even want to, like, man, I wish he would get on for sure, cuz like I haven't heard that name in a while, but like
I
there's
like look.
there's only one thing that I ever end up associating with Sergeant Leota is his tattoo. Do you
Which
know about
one?
his tattoo?
Which one?
I don't even want to say it, because
Oh, okay, okay, don't
if
say.
he's watching or whatever, like, I want him to share it. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it'll definitely be an adult thing, but his tattoo that he's got, like, so that, I don't know.
Hey, man, Silent was
I
shit.
find it
Like
funny. I think it's hilarious, but
now, but you see, I'm glad. Look, check this out. We got 420 bit coming in today. Now we got Silent Leota reaching out. These are the messages that I love getting, bro. That's why I didn't want to. I'm telling you, I don't want to be disrespectful with this. I had to answer this guy right here.
no, you're
But
good.
it's like I like whenever I feel like I'm doing now. I feel like I'm doing something good. You know, I'm reaching out more people. Hopefully, he like comes into the channel. Now we got 420 bit saying that he's gonna email me. Hey man, new face to the channel. Don't know. I don't know him, but hey, now we're gonna end up knowing him. Very well all together.
Hey, I'm just saying,
So
if Sergeant Leota comes on, that should be one of your questions. Is about his tattoo that he's got.
But anyways, man, again, thank you for coming to the channel, bro. I think it was a good talk over here. I was kind of
Yeah.
afraid, and I'm not gonna lie. The reason why I got this the computer right here is, remember how I told you, man, I hate that I gotta go to the phone and
Hmm.
do everything. Well, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that I can control. I think I do can control the streaming from here. So I open up a new window and I'm able to answer, and hopefully I can end the stream right here, and I don't gotta go put my big old thumb face over there. So hey, man, I'm learning little by little,
Hey,
man.
that's your transition though. Is like doing the
Hey,
thumb over.
but yeah, hey. So again, thank you again, brother. I'm
Yeah.
really excited now. Look, I got a fucking smile in my face. Hey, hopefully this guy comes through. Hopefully we got a 420 bet coming into. I'm
If
excited, man.
if I,
I feel
if I can do it, they can do it.
I feel like people are listening, and I like that. I like that.
Good.
But again, everybody, man, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. And like I say, even if I don't have a guest, every Thursday I'm gonna be going live, 7 o'clock Central Time. Uh, I'm not trying to do. If we don't do a lot, if I don't have a guest here on on a Thursday, every Friday, man, is gonna be we're gonna be dropping a new video. So stay tuned for that. And if possible, works allows me to do a couple of shorts during the week, we're gonna do that. But I'm trying to be a little bit more active, man. And again, brother, thank you for being here, man.
All
So
right, man.
hopefully he works. Catch me on
Yeah.
the next one. Uh